Okay, I'm just going to go through the GI answer key now. The GI test that you have done for the past 1 week. The answer key will be similar to what your teachers have gone through. Okay, but just take note that you are either taking elective or pure for this answer key. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the first question. A group of volunteers would like to find out whether tourists are well informed about the use of MRT connecting to many various tourist destinations. So from this statement, you can highlight the key variables. Okay, tourists, the use of MRT connecting tourist destinations. Okay, now then you can also highlight the location, which is where they conducted the survey at Marina Bay Sands. Okay, on one Tuesday. Okay, from 2 to 5 p.m. Okay, so all these are information that you must use for your upcoming GI questions. So very first question is, what is the hypothesis of the source? Okay, so if I talk about hypothesis, very simply put, most tourists are using the MRT to get into Marina Bay Sands. Okay, so whenever we talk about hypothesis, you must ensure that you have the location also, okay, which is the Marina Bay Sands. Now, another effect of a hypothesis is, like for example, I use the word most, okay, to show a slight biasness towards a particular side. So either a negative side or a positive side. So if I put most tourists, blah 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 blah, so it shows that there is a positive conclusion in the hypothesis, or there's a positive effect or impact in the hypothesis. Okay. So if I want to have a negative kind of connotation, then I put a lot of tourists or most tourists are not using the MRT, blah blah blah. So it shows a negative effect. So it depends up to you for the hypothesis. Okay. Next question. You're supposed to craft three relevant questions based on the hypothesis above. Okay. So as you can see, this is an open-ended questions followed by a closed questions. Okay. So open-ended question is always a why or a how question, and a closed question is either a yes or no question with or numbers question. Okay. Now, one thing to note is make sure that you always have a particular location in your question. Okay, so that you can cover the loophole, or you can solidify your questions with the location. So look at the first question. Why do you take the MRT to Marina Bay Sands? So that's the location. Why do you think the MRT is important to many tourist attractions? So tourist attractions, another question mark with location. Do you know of the MRT system in Singapore? So this question is very a yes or no question. Okay, so let me repeat myself. An open-ended question can be a why or how question, but when you talk about closed-ended question, it's a yes or no question. Okay, or a numbers question. Now we move forward to the next question, which is when reorganizing the question type, the group decided that they wanted to do a closed question first before open-end question. Okay, so this question is actually for the elective. Okay, so elective question, we are asking whether you do why do you do close before open. Okay, so this is the elective. So those who are taking elective, this is your question, and reason being because, okay, you want to do quantitative data first before qualitative. Okay, numbers first, counting first before qualitative, to make general observation. So I want to see what is the general trend first before I ask the why question. Why is the general trend like this? Why is the trend going down? Why is the trend going up? So one example I put here, do you know of the MRT system in Singapore? Maybe 50%, 60% say no, 40% say yes. So I know the trend is negative towards me. Then that is making a general trend. Then I make a qualitative interpretation. Ask why. Why do you think MRT in Singapore is not as popular or not as well informed? So a why question. So it starts with a general trend, followed by verifying or provide reasons based on observation. Okay, that is why they decided to do uh, closed question before open question. Now, for the pure students, we look at random sampling. So So describe the procedures and identify two advantages. Okay, simple random sampling. Every member of the population is given a number. So population of tourists. So for this one, we focus on tourists. Okay, a random number generator is used to generate number to select samples. Okay, so that is the steps for random sampling. Advantages: minimize bias, simplify data analysis, cost effective for large population. Even you can reduce manpower. Okay, reduce manpower, reduce cost. Okay, now moving forward. Okay, for this question, here are the collected results based on the survey. You can see by now that 65% of tourists actually takes the tour bus and the private hire. The tour bus means there's a tour guide. About 10% take the bus, 5% take the taxi, and then 20% take the MRT. Okay, altogether 100 surveys altogether. Now, based on the graph, okay, you supposed to draw a bar graph. Okay, I will not draw the graph now, but let's make sure that you have your title labeled. Okay, your axis labeled, and then of course the accuracy of your bar graph. Okay, next question. Now again, there are two types of questions. So let's look at the elective one first. For those who are taking elective, this is your question. The supervisor mentioned that their study is not reliable. Describe why is it not reliable and provide two improvements to ensure reliability of study. Okay, so this is the elective question. So elective, this is not reliable because of lack of days of study and also lack of sites of study. Okay, so when I talk about lack of days, with the small number of days, the data collected is not abundant, not comprehensive, thus making the investigation more unreliable. And then you have to provide two improvements, right? So you can increase number of days by 14 days. Okay. If you talk about lack of sites for the study, with small numbers of sites, data collected is not accurate because the tourists coming to Marina Bay Sands may have different SES than other tourist attractions, making the data collected not diverse in perspective. So when I talk about SES means socio-economic status, because if you go to Marina Bay Sands, it's all the very high price priced goods. So maybe those who are going to Marina Bay Sands are all the very high SES. Okay, so it doesn't make it diverse. So maybe people going there may not be keen to take the MRT. They will have their private cars, they will have their private hire, they can afford taxi, okay, and so on and so forth. So it does not make the response more diverse. Okay, uh, how do you improve this? You can increase the more tourist sites such as Sentosa and Singapore Flyer. Okay. Now, for the pure question, for the elective, please ignore this part. For the pure, you're supposed to evaluate the reliability of the study. So when you evaluate, make sure you always have two sides. Okay, so one is reliable. So when I talk about reliable, okay, make sure you are talking about how the data collected is aligned with the hypothesis. So the questions that is being conducted is aligned to the hypothesis. Therefore, making a very clear conclusion for the group. Okay, so the sample size is very sufficient. 100 people is suffice to actually amount of data needed for the collection, and the options given in the questionnaire is also substantial. Okay, to align to the hypothesis. Now, but it is unreliable. Similarly, because of lack of days, just not explained already, and lack of sites. Right. Now, for the next question, this is for both elective and pure. The group concluded that tourists may not have good information about the MRT's connectivity to different tourist attractions. So, do you agree with the conclusion? Explain your answer. So, based on this, you know that the data shows that private hire is the most popular, followed by MRT, taxi, and bus. Okay, so MRT still very, 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 very way ahead or very, very lower than compared to tour bus. Tour bus numbers are way ahead. So from here, I can agree that the group that concluded, okay, that concluded this is valid. Okay, so the group concluded this statement, right? The tourists are not having or does not have good information about MRT's connectivity. So I agree. Okay, that MRT is not the most popular choice, okay, among the tourists. The evidence being 20 tourists compared to 65 tourists taking the private hire. I just copy the evidence and then I give explanation. Shows that tourists are still not familiar with the different locations in Singapore and therefore may want to hire tour guide to the various tourist sites. Okay. Okay. Last but not least, this question is a very open-ended question where you are required to think of the risk or the hazard that may happen when you are doing a GI. So for this question, the group now decided to find out whether many tourists are coming to Singapore due to different hiking trails. So because of hiking trail, you must know that if you are not equipped, you may fall into a lot of risk. Okay. However, the team leader mentioned that when conducting the study, they must look out for risks. So explain two different risks that the group may face. So the first risk is your falls and cuts, the minor injuries. This means that the participants slip and fall, causing injuries such as bruised knees or sprained ankle. This can happen because if participants are not in proper foot attire, why got two proper and clothing, they may slip and fall, especially in hiking trails where there are potential hazards such as steep sides or jagged rocks. Okay, so I'm just giving a very brief explanation on how the injuries, the cuts and falls can happen due to improper footwear or clothing. Second one, you can talk about traffic accidents and collision. This means that the participants may be overwhelmed with the number of people, vehicles in the area. Because of course it's a tourist attraction, therefore there might be overcrowding, and without any safety precaution or measures in place, it may lead to participants facing accidents. So again, you are explaining the different risks that may happen if you do different hiking trails as a hypothesis. Now, your teacher have gone through the corrections with you. So it's just a sample idea on how to do your GI for your upcoming EO exams. Thank you.